different parts of the state for issues that just would be very destructive for this part of the state. And you see it in one example, you see it all the time, and is energy policy. A lot of the energy policy coming from the Democratic majority is very destructive to areas like ours. They want to restrict our ability to extract natural gas or to mine coal. And these are things that are essential to our industries and our businesses. And it's difficult to sit there and listen and hear lectures from people that have no idea what they're talking about when you come from an area where, you're right smack in the middle of it. And that's just one example. But it's a very diverse state. That's one thing you'll learn very quickly in being in the state house. There's very different cultures in Pennsylvania. I mean, you have the Pittsburgh culture, which is basically anything west of Johnstown and south of Mercer. And then you have the Philadelphia culture, which is the city of Philadelphia. And then you have southeast Pennsylvania, which is the surrounding collar counties of that. Then you have like the Allentown, Lehigh culture, northeast culture with Scranton and Wilkes-Barre. And then you have like south central Pennsylvania, which is different than north central Pennsylvania, which is different than northwest Pennsylvania, which is different than Erie. I mean, and so you get representatives from each of these places, and they have very different interests, and it's because the constituents have very different interests. And so it's a fascinating place and really a study on human nature. So it's a great opportunity. It is a wonderful job. It's a calling, really, to be called to service and to do the work of your constituents and to try and get something done within that environment.
State Representative Josh Kail, newly elected State Representative Roman Kozak is my guest. Mr. Kozak, how much is nervous and how much is excited? I meant to ask you, how's your dorm mate?
I've met my suite mate a couple of times, right? Yeah, we have. So when you walk into an office area, there are two offices in one little area. So, my suite mate's from out east, and so it'll be an interesting cultural dialogue between us, as Josh said. I mean, Pennsylvania is we're bigger than many European countries, land mass wise, population wise. So we are, it's like running government for a country here, a European country as far as size goes. But
everyone that lives in Greenland would all fit in Steeler Stadium.
Is that, wow, fascinating.
57,000. And you don't realize that.
57,000.
That's what I read. So it was on the internet.
State,
it must be true.
Yeah, 51st state, I hear, Eddie. That's what I heard.
That's a territory. Apparently, Canada's the 51st state, which, I get the idea behind it.
Here comes the off the rails. Go ahead.
I don't think there's been a consideration of the electoral consequences. I mean, what's the population of Canada?
Canada?
Yeah. It would become a sizable state, right? Obviously, the geography of it.
Right.
But that would become a Democrat state immediately. And so all 50, 70 electoral votes would go towards the Democrats. And let me tell you something, Greenland's not going to, counterbalance that with 57,000 people. It's not by land mass, it's by population.
That's
so we
right.
should probably think about the whole, beyond other considerations, obviously.
Well, it's Denmark's call.
Yeah.
And Denmark changed their shield to make the polar bear bigger because that represents, it's such a European, how about this?
So I actually saw an article where I guess there's a dispute now with Greenland is trying to say, or I don't know if they're trying to declare or they are saying that there is a dispute. And there's a little bit of a distinction there.
There's an upcoming election or something where they're talking about independence.
I guess they're either talking about it or they're saying they are independent. I read the article, and I guess, so Greenland,
Denmark.
I've never looked into Greenland, and I know it's technically a territory of Greenland, right. Which is, taking us back to the colonialism. I guess there's still some remnants,
that's what the problem is.
Of that, right?
Well, but Mr. Kail, you're a history buff. Isn't that true of every cool European country you've ever heard of?
Yeah.
Was ripping up somebody somewhere?
Yeah.
Go to the Caribbean and try and find a non-Dutch road.
Yeah. The sugar industry was big.
Yeah. Well,
sugar industry is big.
Yeah.
that goes back to what you were talking about, the dialogue that you're going to
Still
have
is.
with your sweet mate.
Yeah.
It's different perspectives.
It
Does
can
that
be.
make you nervous, or does that make you
not at all.
excited? No.
No, I love those conversations. I have no problem having conversations with people that have different perspectives. That's what makes this country great, and that's what representatives are supposed to do, to try to figure out ways to make the place we love better. So no. I mean, there's nerves about it really is the process. You go and you're thrown in. I mean, I'm a history teacher and a government teacher in the background, but when you start applying this stuff and seeing the sausage being made, you realize, man, there's a lot of technicalities here on certain ways you handle yourself in certain positions that, it's a time to learn. And, as a new freshman member, you do have to spend time learning, and you can't have a big head going into this thinking that you've got it all figured out. I think we've seen that enough on the national stage at times with new people coming in thinking they're going to.
Here's what we're going to do.
And that's it. And then, so.
But I think it's important to note. Oh, go ahead. You got.
How many years have you served now, Mr. Kail?
6 years. Yeah.
Elder statesman.
When did you think you had it figured out? When did it dawn on you?
You never have it figured out.
Okay.
And the system's not meant to be figured. And here's what I mean by that. The people make this comment all the time that government ought to be run like a business. And
why not?
In some regards, that's not true. And I have a business background, and I own a part of a business. I do legal work for that business. And that's, my background. And because in a business, it's run top down. In a business, it's basically run, you have a CEO that controls everything, that makes all the decisions, that has all the accountability. And if we don't like them, you throw them out, put somebody else in. That's more akin to how a monarchy works, right? And it works in business, and that's how it should be, because there's strict accountability. And in business, you don't have the power to throw someone else in prison, right? You have the ability to
you can
run
frame
your
them.
show, and then and if you don't do well, you get thrown out. In government, you have the power to throw people in prison and to control people's lives if you abuse your power. And so we don't want a government to be easy. We don't want things to just be able to snap your fingers and boom, it's done. We want consideration. We want the people to have a voice throughout the entire Commonwealth. So there's 203 of us that represent our individual districts and the interest of our districts. And we all have a say. And when you give 203 people the ability to make a decision collectively, it's going to be interesting. Because 203 is a big number. It means you need 102 to get anything done. And there's a reason why things take a long time. And there's a reason why they should take a long time. Although it's very frustrating, I understand that, because there's things that need to change in the Commonwealth. But at the same time, no government movement, because the government is so bad at doing so many things, no government movement isn't the worst thing all the time. In fact, the worst thing is a government that moves too fast.
Dysfunction can be beneficial to the population.
Yes, because it slows down the actions of the government.
You're a very intellectual guy. How does that not fly into the face of everything that a brain thinks? We're an idiot on purpose because it's better than when we're paying attention?
Because what we're trying to do here is separate powers and decentralize power from it getting into too few people's hands. And when you decentralize power, that makes for people having more freedom and the ability to have a better voice. So,
yeah, I mean, Eddie, look at the founders did this for a reason in this country. I mean, to make it painfully slow process what they came out of, right? I mean, particularly speaking,
coming out of the monarchy,
Europe, right?
Yeah.
So where you have an abuse of power, and they do too much power in someone's hands, and the wrong person's hands can be devastating for a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the Rex Rex argument that whether the law is king or the king is over the law, and whether you want one person dictating to everyone else, or do you want a group of people deciding and giving consent to the governed. And in the United States, we chose that freedom to give people the ability to decide the laws that govern over them. And we have the distinct honor and really a high duty to be that voice of the consent. We are the consent for our constituents. And we decide on behalf of our districts whether or not a certain law is good for our district or not. And if our district disagrees, we go up for election every 2 years. You throw the bum out, and you put somebody in there that will do the right thing. So
we're talking to State Representative Josh Kail, new State Representative Roman Kozak. After the news, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out now, but after the news, I'm going to talk about how much money do we have in the top drawer, in our sock drawer as a state? $7 billion squirreled away. The rainy day fund.
Yeah,
it was more. Somebody sneak in and spend some of it?
Yeah.
Is that really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't sneak in. They did it through the budget process last time.
All right, Josh Kail and Roman Kozak, and who got in the state's top drawer? That's where the socks are. They ain't supposed to do that.
Falling in love is one thing. Having anxiety about falling is a whole different subject. If you or a family member are concerned about falling, and yes, either up or down the stairs, or maybe even out of bed, St. Barnabas has a special message and some ideas just for you. Years of experience in working with people who are prone to falls has given St. Barnabas special expertise in this area. Call them at 724-443-0700 and learn about ways that you can begin to feel more confident and safe, including suggestions that you can implement right now into your daily routine. Call St. Barnabas at 724-443-0700. For many years now, St. Barnabas has been helping people fall in love, that is, with their new, better life, a longer life, a risk-free life. Call St. Barnabas now at 724-443-0700 or visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com and learn more about living longer and better.
When you talk about community involvement and safety, the name Fry stands at the forefront in Beaver County. Fry Transportation's mission is to continue to raise the bar as the gold standard in their industry by providing the safest, most reliable, and cost-efficient transportation service in Beaver County through their strong relationships with their community's best-in-their-class drivers, equipment, and technology. There's nothing more important than the safety of their students, employees, and community members. Fry Transportation, where the quality of their organization is characterized by the makeup of the individual behind the wheel. Tune in to Beaver County Radio 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP every Monday and Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. for Thinking Logically with Joe Corsai. It is an all-new show that takes a look at the conservative side of politics. Thinking Logically is also presented on the WBVP-WNBA Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's Thinking Logically with Joe Corsai each and every Monday and Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on Beaver County Radio.
When the weather turns bad, you can now do two things. First, tune to Beaver County Radio for the latest cancellation announcements, and second, go to beavercountyradio.com and access our all-new closings and delays widget that is active anytime that there are weather-related events. If snow's got you covered, so do we at Beaver County Radio. Beaver County Radio social media and beavercountyradio.com. Snow Watch is presented by Monroe Auto Body, the Lisa Latham team at eXp Realty, the cornerstone of Beaver County, and Beaver County Radio.
You're listening to Beaver County Radio, coming to you live from the Fry Transportation Studios. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, a winning team. 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP, providing news, sports, and information for 76 years.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and beavercountyradio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Good morning on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP. It'll be mostly sunny skies today with a high near 24. We will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. The City of Aliquippa Police Department put out an arrest warrant for 39-year-old Brett Hours of Aliquippa after he assaulted a man at the VFW on 211 Penn Avenue on Sunday at around 11:30 p.m. According to Beaver County District Attorney Nate Bible, Preston Coleman was the victim of an unprovoked attack by Hours. Footage on video shows Hours strangling and assaulting the victim for about a half an hour, as well as hitting the victim with a bar stool. Do not approach ours because he is considered dangerous, and call 724-775-0880 if you find him. Pennsylvania State Police in Beaver report that both a Center Township police vehicle and a police officer were hit by a car that lost control in Center Township. At 8:16 a.m. on December 20th, 2024, 46-year-old Jonathan Dohanich of Monaca was driving his 2016 Subaru Forester on Temple Road, just west of Elkhorn Road. Dohanich hit a Center Township police vehicle and an officer who was part of an investigation into another crash involving two vehicles. Dohanich was charged by police after this incident. Today, Thursday, January 9th, 2025, was proclaimed by President Joe Biden as a national day of mourning in honor of the passing of former President Jimmy Carter on December 29th, 2024. Businesses will still be open, even though every postal service and federal office will be closed today. According to a release from Allegheny Health Network, 4 of their hospitals received health grades as 2024 and 2025 Clinical Quality and Patient Experience Awards. AHN Allegheny General Hospital was given a top 50 hospital in America for cardiac surgery, a top 100 hospital in America for cardiovascular care, and was the best hospital in Western Pennsylvania for cardiac surgery according to Health Grades' ratings. AHN Jefferson Hospital in Jefferson Hills, AHN Allegheny Valley Hospital in Natrona Heights, and AHN Wexford Hospital also got health grade awards for treatment of patients. There are growing concerns about the prevalence of Christian nationalism, an ideology that seeks to establish a theocracy rooted in Christian principles. Danielle Smith has more.
Research indicates that approximately 1 in 3 Pennsylvanians support Christian nationalist views, which opponents argue challenges the American idea of separation of church and state. Rachel Tabachnik, an independent researcher, says the rise of Christian nationalism seen during the 2024 elections threatens reproductive health care access.
This is supposed to be a bottom-up theocracy based on biblical law being enforced at the family, church, and local civil government level. So in order for this to work, women must stay in their God-given roles, which is to have children and raise her family.
On a recent episode of the Inaccessible podcast, Tabachnik spoke about the history of Christian nationalism and how theocracy libertarianism advocates for laws based on biblical principles.
PennDOT announced on Wednesday that the Fixed Route Intelligent Transportation System, or FRITS for short, is now in use at 33 different transit agencies around Pennsylvania. FRITS provides planning for transits and service information in real time through an app called MyStop. Passengers can also track where their bus is and the distance their bus is away from the stop. The PennDOT FRITS service also counts riders on and off vehicles, tracks vehicles that are from transit agencies, and reports data throughout Pennsylvania. And Republican Floor Leader Jesse Topper commented about new rules for the Pennsylvania House on Wednesday. According to Topper, committee splits of 14-12 on all standing committees, with 13 votes needed to report a bill out of committee. Topper also wants to stop grouping all amendments for legislation and make the process of discharge for bottled-up legislation from a committee fair. Topper also emphasized reducing the cutoff of debates for House matters.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
It will be partly cloudy skies tonight with a low of around 10. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy skies with a high near 26. On Saturday, it'll be mostly cloudy skies with a high near 28. And on Sunday, it'll be mostly cloudy skies with a high near 29. On this Thursday, January 9th of 2025, at 35 minutes after 9, we've got a temperature of 19 degrees with partly cloudy skies here in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Are you ready? It's time to find out what is on the mind of Eddie Crow. It's something to crow about on Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP. Now, here's the host of the show, Eddie Crow.
right, I'm going to very quickly describe what just happened over the last 6.5 minutes. No, we got it. I got this. I got work. It's Rappin with the Reps. Josh Kail is here. New rep Roman Kozak is here, and we had a delightful.
Kozak.
What did I say?
You said Kozak.
Just ignore him, Eddie.
Oh, he did this before.
Yeah.
All right. But we're having a nice time. Noah comes in to do the news, and I look up, and it was like a herd of goats, dude. Frank, my boss, is coming in, and DJ Fry, who, this is the Fry Studio, is coming in.
Citizen of the Year.
Citizen of the
DJ
Year.
Of the decade.
And I'm watching
Soon to be
Noah,
century.
and all Noah wants to do is get through the news, man. And mics are getting moved around, and people are just... DJ Fry, you're welcome anytime. Why are you just rolled in? Wait a minute. There you go.
What better way to start?
This is all on live Facebook. This is being live Facebook feeded too, by the way. What are you doing here? You got questions for the reps? I was just going to ask them about the
questions.
$7 billion.
Two good, two wonderful, wonderful individuals. No better way to start the Thursday off. Yeah. No snow cancellations, no delays. Have these two representing the 14th and 15th districts. Okay. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you, DJ.
But really the true winners are, the residents of the 14 and 15. So, but I had to stop up and say hello. And on behalf of both of these gentlemen, on behalf of Fry Transportation, St. Barnabas Charities, we want to offer the 14th caller and the 15th caller today each a $50 gift card to Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow, beautiful.
So caller 14, caller 15.
Each receive a $50 gift
let
card
me ask you
to
something.
Texas Roadhouse.
If one person keeps calling 14 and 15 times in a row, does that count? Or is it unique callers? Is it unique callers or many times calling?
If you're the 14th caller, you're not going to be the 15th caller because there's going to be other callers.
I can start calling now.
Right? All the Kail children can call and order. And then
no, we got all the Kail children to school safely this morning.
That's right. I do have to say, I have personal experience with Fry Transportation. They drive my kids to school. They are the best. They're a fantastic company.
724-843-1888. If you're caller 14 or caller 15, $50 at Texas Roadhouse. So call now at this point, and Sparks is just drooling because Texas Roadhouse is one of his jams.
It's
Eddie. He's actually calling over here. he's got his cell phone out.
His phone's ringing.
He's trying to populate that list.
724-843. Oh, and if you have questions for the reps, you can call. Same numbers, but go for the food first. All right. I just thought of this. People don't know how this works. When people start calling, you just start pressing buttons. You're caller 1, thank you, try again. You're caller 2, thank you, try again. You're caller 3, and you just blow down the list. All right, keep calling. It ain't over yet. 724-843-1888. Mr. Kail, before the break. Do you get any questions for the reps? Do you want to know? Couldn't we use, you drive these roads every day, school buses. Wouldn't the infrastructure help if we took a little bit of that rainy day fund money?
Absolutely. I mean,
I just threw Mr. Kail under the bus.
Any bit help. Actually, Representative Kelvin and I, we talk about that quite often.
Yep.
He's constantly checking in and asking if we have issues and things that need to be brought to his attention. But, you asked if I had a question, Eddie.
Yes, sir.
I do. Roman.
Yes.
What was it like? First time I saw the pictures, beautiful family. It had to be just a tremendous experience for your wife and all the boys. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, DJ, it was awesome. It was a really cool experience. The coolest part about it is having your children and wife there with you, and them sort of getting to experience all of that the Capitol itself. My kids have been to the Capitol at different times, but to be there and to see their dad doing what he's doing, and they got to meet the governor, they got to meet the attorney general, they got to meet the treasurer. So it's just a really cool experience for them and for everyone, and everybody was so gracious there, and so it's a blessing for sure, and we're excited to represent the 14th.
Tremendous. By the way, this is the quickest that we've got to 14
I
calls.
know. Listen, look at this. Look at this.
You guys bring an audience. Eddie, how about that?
I lost the bet. I wouldn't have bet he could have
The
got
phone
double
lines are
digits.
just going crazy over here, but you guys pack a punch, no doubt about it.
Well, they heard you were here, DJ.
I don't know about that. I don't know about. But I do want to thank Texas Roadhouse in Monaca, Jason Fye. He's a big fan of the radio station, and he does such a nice job and he supports the community and all the school districts and whatnot. So it is a fantastic establishment. We do a lot with those guys. But again, so pumped that both of you are here.
Absolutely.
Thanks for your kindness and generosity, DJ.
Now representing Kail 6th time.
Jeez.
Is it just keeps getting sweeter?
Yeah. It in large part it does, because the more you're there, the more you can figure out how to get certain things accomplished, and you learn by experience, and you get to know people, and you understand how to navigate through the system. And I'm not as seasoned as someone like Representative Marshall was by any stretch of the imagination, but every year is an opportunity to learn and to figure out how things operate and to grow based off of it. So yeah, it never gets dull. It never gets dull. The honor of representing your neighbors in Harrisburg, and to be their voice, and to listen to them and then communicate that to those in Harrisburg is phenomenal. So that part of the job never gets dull. Sometimes the political nonsense does. Sometimes that stuff gets a little old, but the honor to represent your neighbors never gets dull.
Right. Now, did your kids walk Roman's kids around and show them, here's where the vending machine is?
It's so funny in the Capitol.
Like,
so my kids are like hanging from chandeliers by now.
I'm walking through the Capitol, and there's like 2 Kail kids here, and then you walk, another couple hundred feet, there's 2 kids there, and you're like, what do you got? They know the Capitol. They just know it now. And that's
they know parts of it better than I do, because they're everywhere. I mean, they go over the place.
That's cool with Josh. He takes his kids. It's the family. It's not Josh just representing. It's the Kail family.
Right. And I'm sure you've already noticed he has the nicest office in Harrisburg. The nicest.
Glorious.
It's beautiful.
Glorious.
It's beautiful.
Once they patched that roof with that tarp, it was nice.
It took a little while to get the roof fixed, but you win some, you lose some.
It's a very convenient time to fix the roof, too.
It's Rappin with the Reps. Josh Kail is here. Roman Kozak is here. DJ Fry came in. We have winners. Blew through it quick, so 14th caller and 15th caller just got $50 gift certificates from the Texas Roadhouse.
Your last name's not Kozak, is it?
Oh, we checked that.
All right, good.
Well, yeah, you go into a database for sure.
I check these politicians.
That's going to mess you up more. How many Kails are running around Beaver County?
A whole school handful.
For my own family, I got 8 of them.
I got
8
4
kids.
boys, and then I realized,
all of
half
which will be
the
staying
Kails.
away from my daughters.
In addition to DJ Fry hooking people up, somebody has a question for the reps.
Oh, boy.
You want to listen with your headphones? Hi, are you still there?
Yes.
What is your name, sir?
Patrick.
Patrick, what is your question?
I want to know about the school choices. How Trump says...
Patrick, your phone is god-awful.
Yeah.
Try the... Go quick. I mean, your phone's really... I'm struggling. Try again. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Hello? Patrick, are you moving to a different part of the porch? Hello? Dang it. I wanted to know what Patrick, call back.
Did he say school?
Was it about school choice?
School
All
choices.
right. Let's talk about school choice and the funding, because that's the crux of most of it. Your opinion on school choice. What is school choice? Yeah. DJ, you deal with this too, because you got a whole lot of different
there's definitely
answers.
Technical issues involved with it. But from a macro standpoint, because I don't know what the particular question was about, I will say this. I support it because I believe parents have the obligation, frankly, and the right to be in control of their children's environment, which means to be in control of their children's education and where they go to school. And I think the state, in any way which possible, ought to get out of the way and allow parents to make those decisions and to have that choice. And that's what school choice really is. So that would be where I'm at. But there is some serious transportation issues involved there, and how you work with that, and funding issues. It can get technical, but generally that's my position on that issue.
Mr. Kozak?
I would echo everything that Mr. Kail said. School choice to me is actually a civil rights issue. To me, it's one of the civil rights issues of our generation. I think it's that important. I think that we cannot continue to throw money at a system, more and more money at a system, and expect different results when we're having results that are...
What system? You're talking about the current public education?
I'm just saying the current structure of everything.
Okay. Where is it wrong?
There's room for improvement everywhere, and the opportunities that we can give students. Now, here's the thing. You don't want to take funds and just destroy your local schools either, right? You don't want to just pull funding and destroy the schools that are already established. You want to give parents the opportunity to send their kids where they believe is best for them, and you don't want to just destroy the resources that exist there for them just because someone else has a different choice with it. So I think there are various creative ways that we can go about it. I won't get too into the weeds right now, but I think that kids should have an opportunity. If their school is failing them, the parent should have an opportunity and not be limited by their income, not be limited by their situation or their zip code. They should have the opportunity to put their kids somewhere else that they can better succeed. And we're seeing some of the biggest advocates come from places like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh on this issue.
All right. Patrick's phone wasn't working. I feel like we covered ground with that. But Jerry sent a text to the station. A round trip on the Beaver Valley Expressway, Chippewa to Newcastle, is now $18.52. Any interest in working to get that cap? Because if not reduced, because that infrastructure is a dead zone for the area. $18.50 on the Beaver Valley Expressway to go from Chippewa to Newcastle seems a bit harsh. Is that a PennDOT thing, or is that a Beaver County thing, or is that a rep thing, or...
Is it $18?
$18, according to Jerry, from Chippewa to Newcastle, $18.50.
Is it a round trip? Or?
It's Turnpike. Those fees are set by the Turnpike.
Yeah. I see. Okay.
So, too bad, so sad.
No, well, yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's a fraud. The whole system, I shouldn't use such strong language, but it's fraudulent how it's set up. I'll just say that. And it is. And it's ultimately Harrisburg's fault. It's our fault, actually, ultimately, from 2006 or 5. What happened is we found out ways to take money from the Turnpike Commission and not reimburse the Turnpike Commission. So we take $400 or $500 million every year. Last we checked, and it's probably more now, from the Turnpike, and goes to the state, and the state uses it to plug holes in the budget. And the reason there's this secret in Harrisburg that I found, I found out that the issue is that, so as a state government, there's very limited places that we can actually go into debt. We are not like the federal government. The federal government prints money, goes into debt, and no one seems to care in Washington, D.C., right? But in Harrisburg, we actually have to balance budgets. And we can't go into debt, and we can't do all the other stuff except for very narrow exceptions. Well, that's not true with the Turnpike. The Turnpike can incur debt. And so what happens is the Turnpike ends up spending more money than it should to the state, and in turn incurs debt and then raises its rates because it can. So we get to blame the Turnpike as Harrisburg, and the Turnpike isn't accountable to the elected officials, and they just raise rates. And so it's a scam. The whole thing is, the way the whole thing is set up was set up under the Rendell administration. It needs to change.
How?
Well, there's been proposals in the past, including from Governor Rendell, to privatize the Turnpike. I don't know if that would work. I don't know if that would be the ticket, but something needs to change. There's got to be a level of accountability with how things operate there, because it's the most expensive road in the world.
Yes.
Entire world.
The Turnpike is the most expensive highway in the world, and that's why. It's because we've used it over the course of years as a way of filling budget gaps instead of doing the hard work of cutting and being responsible. So just a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, if you can't tell. But
no, I love it.
And living so close to it, we feel it. We feel it every day. In fact, I feel quite often. I'm going up to that area a lot. So.
Do you have one of the crappy pieces of plastic in the window that doesn't work, and they knew it doesn't work, and they sent them out anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I got to pay more to go to my favorite Lebanese restaurant, you know? It's actually Syrian. Mary's in Newcastle. It's glorious, but, you know, I got to pay an extra how many dollars?
Speaking of those plastic things, the transmitters,
we
have a lot of transmitters.
I bet you do.
How much is a bus? How much do they pop? Or is it by length? Or
it goes by axle.
Number of axles.
There's a commercial transmitter, and there's a non-commercial transmitter. So we have a variety of different ones. But the one thing I was going to bring to Representative Kail's attention, since we're on this topic, we spend probably 4 to 5 hours each quarter on the phone with Harrisburg, just remedying or correcting errors on our toll-by-plate and our transmitter accounts.
Are you kidding me?
So, you know, our bus or van that travels to Newcastle every morning, that transmitter is mounted in the van. So we will get, a piece of mail showing us bill by plate, and it'll also bill our transmitter. So we constantly have to submit supporting document each quarter.
You've got to reconcile the bill.
Absolutely. So talk about potholes. There's some additional things that need to be worked out when it comes to this system.
People come into the rep's office, state rep's office.
And this is a great conversation, Eddie, because I mean, this is the nuts and bolts of what we do, and these are the things that we can actually make better, because that's what it's about. It's about keeping our communities safe. It's about providing infrastructure for our communities and making sure we're run efficiently as a government. And these are ways that we can improve it. And someone like DJ Fry, let me tell you, he's right there on the ground. He knows the roads. He knows what's going on with these transportation issues. He's a great resource for both Roman and I, and for the radio station here.
I feel like you three sitting in a room could get a whole lot done. DJ, when you gonna run for office, bro?
Oh no, that's what
wait a
what
minute.
these two here are all about. I'll make sure they get there
district,
to and from safely. I'll tell you that. So
it has been an absolute whale of a Rappin' with the Reps. Is there anything I should have asked either of you, Mr. Kozak or Mr. Kail, that I didn't bring up? Leave me alone. I know it's a Z.
No.
I just yelled at the state representative too. Oh, good.
That was wonderful. It was a surprise to have DJ here. Great surprise. Thanks for your generosity, DJ. That was great. Very awesome of you. So no, we're good. I'm good at it. What about you, Josh?
I think you should ask Mr. Hozak more difficult questions.
With it,
I think
because here's
it's his
what's
first
happening.
time. I think we gotta grill him.
Right.
We gotta get him ready to.
Mr. Hozak.
Just like Josh's first time, I'm sure. Right.
Josh is trying to plant it in my head to say the name wrong, and it will work. Mr. Hozak, here's my last question.
There's a hazing policy, just so you know, in Harrisburg.
When do I get a vote as an active at this point? How do magnets work?
How do magnets work?
He said, ask you a difficult question. He's the senior.
That's a good question.
That's
a
great
positive
question.
with a negative, and it just kind of
here, we'll let Josh answer it. We'll just let him do it.
My esteemed colleague from the 15th district.
You asked him. You asked Mr.
go
Kozak. I'm really confusing you guys.
Mr. Fry, how do magnets work?
Hey, I'm just here to say hello. I'll have to call my local representative's office and ask the answer to that question.
The representative in the 14th
the
district.
Magnetic field. Yeah, we'll talk about that sometime.
Gentlemen, all three of you, that's the most fun I've had in an hour of radio in a long time.
Let's do it weekly. Bring our staff in. It'll be great.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes. I'll sit here and say something stupid and let you guys make fun of me for 20 minutes. My paycheck don't change. God bless you.
Good seeing you, Eddie.
Thanks,
Mr.
Eddie.
Kozak, good luck and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Hey, I just want to
If you own a company or...
I'm sorry, I cut you off already.
No. I just want to say real quick to everybody out there in the 14th District, thank you. My office is open. It's ready to serve you. We're in the Chippewa Township Municipal Building. Please stop by and say hello, and we're ready to be there for you.
Freedom United Federal Credit Union proudly presents the return of Beaver County's